जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः. The great Ramakrishna Parampara, God from time to time incarnates. And now we see we are fortunate, we are very close to the incarnation that has come. Just a century back almost, we see Sri Ramakrishna is coming down to the earth and starting a new spiritual awareness in human. Every soul will be transformed to divinehood. And we see the whole world, one world of peace, joy, and harmony will be there. Each time my incarnation descends on the earth, this is what we see, the unification. Why this Guru Purnima is so important? Of course, on Guru Purnima day, we worship all gurus, both academic gurus who have taught us ABCD onwards, all knowledge that we need in the world to live, they are also honored and worshipped. The Guru, who is spiritual guide to us, who leads us to the realm beyond of the nature, helps us, makes us know ourselves. We have seen the world, we have seen so many people, we never saw ourselves. Guru makes you see yourself. And this knowledge the Guru imparts to take us to transform ourselves, go beyond our internal nature, external nature, reach the realm of ever, the ocean of bliss, peace, love, absolute, eternal life in the transcendental realm. Now, there is a vast difference between the secular, that is, the academic gurus, teachers. They give us information. They fill our brains with secular knowledge which is helpful to us only in waking state. The moment we sleep, nothing. The moment we leave the body, that what they are taught doesn't help us anymore. So here we see Guru awakens us from within. Guru gives us spiritual knowledge which is going to be there in all states of our existence, in sleep, in deep sleep, in waking, in super conscious state. After we leave the body, we heard the song now, Tu jahan jahan chalega, mera saya saath hoga. It is not only mera saya, it is not only mere chaya, तेरे साथ होगी, मैं खुद तेरा साथ होगा. The whole existence of Guru will go lives after lives till the soul whom he has initiated reaches God, back to the source, to the eternal bliss. That is the difference between secular gurus that we have. But we need, this life is there in the world. We have to live in this world. How to live in this world? What are the things we need? All that will be given by the secular guru. In ancient days, there were only one guru who taught us how to live in the world and how to transcend the nature and go beyond, both spiritual and secular. Once the Gurukula we go, in the after getting initiated into spiritual life, at the age of 5, go to the Gurukula, finish the education, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, stay there and come back. There are another set of gurus, apart from the academic and the spiritual, who are like bridges. The one who teaches us Kala as a spiritual practice. Now, so many varieties of arts are there. The most closest to the spiritual life is music as a part of spiritual life. Bhajans, the singing, the instrumental music, and all that which they teach, the gurus they are like bridges between the secular and the spiritual. They lead us from secular to the spiritual. Spiritual guide will take us to the spiritual end. So these three types of gurus we see in the world. So Guru Purnima today, we are observing the whole world, especially we see we are worshipping our own gurus and Guru Parampara. In Nepal, if you see, it is common to Buddhists, all Buddhists, Jains, and we people, Hindus. It is a universal understanding. They worship their own gurus in their own way. But on the Guru Purnima, especially when we worship, we do it in a different way. Nepal is the worship anybody's, any guru, anywhere. Not their Guru Parampara. Somebody is there somewhere and he has got some knowledge from somewhere, that Guru they worship. Guru, wherever he is there, who has given any kind of knowledge to anybody, to them they bow down. It's a very special thing to worship the Gurus of all people at all times, of all times. So, Guru Purnima. Today, actually, the Chaturmasya begins, 4 months of rainy season. In our Hinduism, the pujas and worships are so nicely designed and put and balanced that you'll be able to utilize the nature as if nature is participating in your sadhana and you are participating and moving one with nature. When the rainy season is there, when mind tries to go towards the bodily comforts and enjoyments, there is Krishnashtami. You will be swinging Krishna in the swing with Radha, so that your mind goes to the divine. Ganesh Chaturthi is there. When all things are flourishing, crops have come up, everywhere greenery is there, we do the Durga Puja. When the harvest has come and people have a lot of money in their hands, Shivratri will come. दोनों हाथ उठा के मेरा कुछ भी नहीं, I don't have anything. Tyaga Swarupa. When you have money, disown it. It belongs to nature, it belongs to God. The skill the God has given to you, the prosperity the God has given you, belongs to Him. So Shivratri, like this, the Guru Purnima also is associated with the nature. 4 months of rainy season. Rain is something which is going to wash down everything in the world. The whole of Indian continent you see is clouded. The last moon perhaps we see is Guru Purnima, bright moon. And again it will be covered by clouds for 4 months. By grace of cloud, if you see the full moon, Purna Chandra, it's all right. Otherwise, you will skip it. And again you see on Kartika, Shukla Purnima, 4 months after. The Ashada Purnima to Kartika Purnima, the 4 months is rainy season. The rainy season, all the sadhus, sannyasis, whoever, wherever they are, they will stay there. They will not go for any, because the water is dirty, they cannot move, they cannot walk in the slash everywhere. Everywhere, the diseases, problem of diseases are there. Cold, this, that, so many kinds of viruses and all come up, bacteria. So they avoid movements. And they join together, a few together, they exchange their experiences of the past. How did they spend the last year while walking through what all the problems they faced, what are the things they attained in their spiritual life, how did they go, how did they solve their inner problems. All these things are exchanged. So it will be a gathering together of the, and they start cleaning themselves, seeing each other, meeting each other. So nature is cleaning the whole world. Air is being purified. Every leaf and every plant is washed. We cannot wash one tree. How much of water, how much things. The whole region is waterfalls. The earth is washed. Everything is carried away. And it takes to the lowest dirty place where the sun evaporates the water. Sun will never see dirt. It will see only water. It lifts the water and again makes it cloud. The dirt remains there. That becomes the fertilizer for other things. So this cleaning process is going on. Why should I not participate in the nature's? Nature wants me also to clean. I'm utilizing these 4 months to clean myself from within. All kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, whatever is there, let the rain of the divine fall on me and give me amritatva. Let them wash all the things, all dirt from me. So I yield. Guru we worship because he shows the path. He holds the hand and makes us walk along the path. In that tu jahan chalega, wherever you go, I am there with you. Suppose you take another birth also, I am there by the side of you. So lives after lives, Guru walks with an umbrella over that soul whom he has initiated. Guru may be anywhere, Shishya may be anywhere, he may be in any body, the other person may be in any body. But what we see in our individual life is the Guru is just like the mobile or something, the modern things. If you are going in by flight also, you have the connection. The soul is exactly like the SIM card. Suppose I tell I'm going to Bangalore tomorrow, you ring me up, and I'm talking to you over the phone here. I'm going to Bangalore, you ring me up tomorrow. Now I go, I'm changing the place. I'm taking out the SIM card and putting it in a new mobile. When he rings me up, it doesn't come to the past place nor the old mobile. I've left this body and taken a new body. I've gone to a new place. Whenever rings back, the ring goes to wherever SIM card is there. You recognize the SIM card, not the mobile body or the place. Wherever it is there, you may be flying in a flight or you may be in a far off place. Your call exactly goes there where it is there. Suppose you have become a cat or a dog in next life, Guru is there with you. You have become some deity in higher realms, like heaven. There also you will see that Guru is there by your side. He has contact. He knows where you, he recognizes you not by your bodily existence, but when he initiates also, the mantra is given to the SIM card, the inner soul which is going to leave the body and go. Wherever he goes, he carries that mantra with him. And Guru recognizes that soul. Where is it now? Where is it now? Many times I don't weep for one who has died, because most of the times I'm able to recognize where has he gone? Where is he? So the problem, whom for to weep? The body is going to perish, it is going to earth, back to earth. Everything has to go back to its source. The soul has to go to its origin, the eternal, and the body will go back to the. So wherever you travel, how many lives you take, the Guru will be there with you. That's why Guru is given so much of importance, because all relationships, all knowledge we have acquired in this world fall off with the body. But when we go to the next birth, nothing of this life will remain with us. Guru alone remains. God and Guru, God is all pervading everywhere, at all times, He is there with you. And Guru is one who always moves with you, guiding you in every life. Suppose you become a cat or a cockroach, Guru is there with you to see that you exhaust the karma that you have, because of which that body you have acquired, and safely you move to the proper, again, human body. But most of the times when Guru is there and he is taking the responsibility, you will see that you get a proper human body which can do further sadhana each time, all convenient phases of life. So this Guru Purnima is specially, we do Guru Purnima so that we are safe in this world, we live a happy life here in this world, offering our gratitude even to the academic teachers, even the one who teaches us as a bridge to the eternal, the music and arts which help us. I want to do a beautiful image of Krishna which I want to worship. Kala is there. So this Kala who teaches you to make a Krishna's idol, to make a Ramakrishna's idol, which you are going to worship. What a knowledge it is. It is knowledge which is going to take you to the God. The one who teaches you belongs to a special class of gurus, who is music, these arts, the instrumental music, these type of gurus. They are honored in a special way. We need all these things. We need the bridge to cross. We need the person to take us to the transcendental, to wash us from within, like the nature is washing. The Guru washes us in all our inner dirt. There are two things you see in nature. This Guru says, know this world. Once you know this world, you are safe. When we see in the first beginning stages of life, Guru shows the impermanency of life. Everything is impermanent. My childhood is going off. My youth is going off. My old age is coming. Old age is going to go away. I am going to die. Impermanency. And what is going to happen tomorrow is unknown. Uncertainty. These are two specific things. Thakur used to say, life in this world is 2 days play. Don't pay much attention to this. Whatever is needed, a little for your living, make arrangements, rest of the time. Whatever time you get a little, spend for the coming lives, to transcend the nature, to clean yourself from within. So this, we see, time is there. Time. Hmm? Hmm? Time is infinite and we are eternal. Yes. Mm. So, the two aspects of nature. When we see first nature, then we withdraw. Oh, 2 days play, everything is a passing show. Our childhood was gone. Where is it now? From morning we were here. Where is that? It has gone. We cannot have that again. From morning till now, we saw so many things, but where are they? It is like put in the TV. So many things in the TV, but room is empty. So everything is a passing show. What have we got to do? So he withdraws. Oh, I want something permanent. I want something eternal. Where is the reality? Where is eternal? So he searches. Guru helps with so many information, this, that, gives him some exercises to do. See who you are, how you sleep, how you separate from the body, how you identify in dream with the dream body. How when you go to deep sleep, what happens? All when they go to their deep sleep, they merge in the universal consciousness. We are all one. There is one reality, which is you are again projecting through one body and merging in the infinite, again projecting through the one body. So, all these various ways of convincing the one existence, the Atman, the Brahman, the God. So, he goes on teaching and leading us towards the, and then finally, he arrives at a conclusion where he sees divine in everything, who God has become, from which he withdrew as passing show. Now he sees everything is pervaded by God. God is appearing in various forms as the pillow, as the sofa, as the table. All things are. He sees the, just Thakur used to say, when I was doing worship, I saw everything is Chaitanya. The doors, the hinges, the kosha kuti, everything is lively. Consciousness, I'm able to see consciousness. We see Sat aspect. I am able to see this table. Sat, it exists. I have no doubt. I touch and see it exists. So Sat aspect is seen. Chit aspect is not seen. Conscious is not seen. In living beings, we infer consciousness. Ananda, each person derives ananda from it to the extent he is able to. Now I am sitting comfortably on this sofa. I am ananda experiencing. But if I go on sitting for 10 hours, then I feel so cot and bed are a little better than this now. This starts giving me dukkha, and I go there for ananda. Ananda is there, intermittent. Now and then, little, somewhere we get. We can see that, but not the chit aspect. Then he starts ultimately seeing chit aspect. Chaitanya, everything is bubbling with life. Everything is, oh, this is living. Table is living. We see every object living. That is the last. There is this one existence. Our dream breaks. We are in dream, great dream. In Chandogya Upanishad, one story comes. A person is caught by the dacoits, and then they root him, and because he will go and complain before they run away from the city, they will take him to the forest, blind him, tie him his hands, and leave him there and go away. Some person, while coming back, he sees the bad condition and removes what is tied to the eyes, removes his tyings, and shows him the way. This is the way you have to go back to your home. So, like that, we are blinded. We are not able to see the divine. The Maya has put a blinding on our eyes, and we are wandering here, struggling. Somebody has to come and release us. We remove this covering. Then we will be able to see the divine again. What Maya has put the cover, one who removes this cover, releases us and shows us the path back to our home is called Guru. This is the thing we see in why we worship Guru in Guru Purnima. Because we don't know, he's going to give us information of a thing which is unknown to us. In the same Chandogya Upanishad, Satyakama is there. Satyakama is a realized soul having number of disciples. 12 years, they all be under Guru. Then the day of parting comes. Guru sends everyone. One disciple, he says, no, you will not go. All are going back home after 12 years. He is also has finished 10 and 12 years. He wants to go back, but Guru doesn't permit. He says, no. Guru's wife touches the feet of her husband. Leave him. All are going. He is so sad. He is weeping. He says, no, he is not yet ready. See the responsibility of Guru. He cannot be a safe householder in the world. Says when he goes on a journey. Here, he would be struggling, weeping. He doesn't take food. Any anger or any dissatisfaction will leave the food to teach others. But he leaves the food because he understands. Yes, he says to Guru Mata, Guru Mata says, please take little food. You will not survive without food. He says, no, I will not take. I am not yet ready. When so much dirt is there in me, and I am not been released by my Guru, I know I have so many desires, varieties of desires. And so Guru has not left. Till it goes off, I am not worthy to take food. Then he goes on weeping. And whatever Guru has told him, the fire ritual, this, that, and all, dhyana, all things he'll be doing. Then, after some time, a few weeks, he sees the fire he is offering, and the fire is talking to him. He understands he doesn't have, Guru has not left him because of his academic, abhava is not there. We are well versed with all things. Any question he can answer. But the inner disposition is dirty. He knows whatever is taught, he knows. All the Vedas, they said everything, like all students, he can utter. But the inner dirt has not gone. That he knows. Then, pleased with his penance, the fire tells him, look, Brahman, the absolute existence, is that which is life principle in the world. The sky is Brahman. The air is Brahman. He says, I understand to a certain extent, life is Brahman, but sky is Brahman, like Vivekananda talking to Hazra, when Tagore says, everything is Brahman. Bhati Brahman, Thali Brahman, everything is Brahman, he will be laughing outside. Thakur comes and touches. What are you speaking? Then he sees that everything is Brahmamaya. Like that, this person, I can't think what sky is Brahman, God, and how the air is God, I cannot see. Then he says, the fire, he says, think of the Brahman, concentrate on Brahman. You will understand. Then he goes on doing, what is Brahman? What is Brahman? What is God? The inner dirt, all things start. As it dissolves in the inner, he thinks, so many dirt is there in me. If I become a householder, all these things will make me, hundreds of things will make me confuse my mind, make me run here, there, and end my life. I will not be able to. One I have to concentrate upon, the one which has become everything. I must find out that one. How the determination comes, you see. When he was doing the arti, two were burning, one remained. Two wicks were there, two lamps were there. That one lamp put off, the another was, only one was there. Suddenly I remember the story. One I have to concentrate upon. The one, O capital, which has become all this. Then I'll be able to attain all my desires. If I hold on to that one without being shaken, otherwise I'll be tossed here and there in this world. Guru knows well. So that one I want, that one I want. He started trying to hold on that one which is all pervading, which is in which the whole universe appears and disappears. Then he gets that knowledge. Slowly, the inner awakening is there. Again and again, information comes. See me here, see me here. The earth, the stars say, see me here. I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Purnima Chandra says, I am Brahman. Then he wonders, yes, I have caught this one. Then Guru returns from the journey. And the moment he sees the disciple, he says, your face is glowing with jnana. Who taught you this knowledge? Who gave you this knowledge? He says, other than humans, beings that are other than humans gave me this knowledge. Then he says, yes, what you have understood, what you have known is true. Then he keeps him for some more time, various other purifications, other final, the butter taken away from the curd. He becomes the uh, treasure of knowledge, Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. He says, now you can go and become a householder. How much they took care of the individual, that individual should not be fallen. Samaja, the society should not be harmed. He is going and with all desires. One sadhu of the mission in those days went and told Mahapurush Maharaj, I am not able to see Divine Mother in women. He says, you are unfit to be in the world. Go and do tapas. He sends immediately for him to tapas. When you are able to see the Divine Mother in woman, come back to the world. For years he will be there. Then he comes with the great smile. Everywhere, in every woman, he's seeing Divine Mother. Like that, here, that one, if you know, this is the Guru's responsibility to protect the samajas, the society, to protect everyone, apart from, because they are the knowers of God and knowers of the consequences of karma. They don't want anybody to suffer, anybody to. Well, it is time. We will end today. Huh?
No, there are theirs only. They are able to see you in the camera. You see this camera and wish everybody.
Oh. Yes, yes, the camera is God's eye. We see God having 3 eyes. This is the 4th eye. And this eye destroys the God. God's eye. Very good, very good. Thank you all. May you all get the enlightenment. See that you fulfill the purpose of human life. Nature has provided us with this body, which can happily live in this world utilizing the resources of nature and transcend the nature and go beyond. The both we have to accomplish while being in this body. May this enlightenment come to you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Om. यश्चन्दसामृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. This is a beautiful prayer for getting the Amritattva and prayer to the Vishwarupa to give me the Amritattva. Whatever knowledge I hear, let it be stored in me. Shrutam me gopaya. Amritasya devadharano bhuyasam. Immortality, let us give us the immortality. Similarly, another prayer is there on Guru Purnima Day. Yo brahmanam vidadati purum yo vai vedamscha prayanoti tasmai tam hadevam atma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Then the last one is asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma amritangamaya. These 3 are important prayers on Guru Purnima. Thank you all. Namaste.